Hey guys, welcome back to my aircraft carrier build. I wanted to let you guys know that I made a plethora of different updates to the ship since we last left off, and that includes the whole exterior to parts of the interior of the ship. Now first off, I wanted to say that this ship that you're looking at right now is a copy of the ship that I showed you guys in the last video, which is right here. So as you can see, it's a copy, except the things that I changed on this ship is the height of it. So part of the hull, like this bottom part, which is just above the waterline, is about 6 blocks higher. And the part where it's just below the flight deck has been extended about 3 blocks. And the reason I did this is to be able to add in an O3 deck, which is the deck where all of the berthing spaces and the shops and other compartments are located, as well as to add in the O2 and the O1 level, because I wanted to keep it as detailed as I can. So I did that. Previously this one just couldn't fit in not even an O3 or an O2, so it would have been an O1 just above the main deck, which is the hangar bay where the hangar bays are located. So we don't want that. Anyways, the next thing I wanted to show you guys, a key detail, is the mast of the ship, which is located on the island. If we look at this photo that I got from the internet, it's a picture of the Kitty Hawk going through the Walt Whitman Bridge. I think that's what it's called. It's located in New Jersey, where the Kitty Hawk was built, Camden, New Jersey. I had to research that one, of course. It was not from the top of my head, so... And this photo in particular is one of the first Kitty Hawk yearbook, I guess you could call it. All of that information is linked down in the description if you want to see the different yearbooks they had. Anyways, if we look at the island, previously I had the mast directly center of the island, and that was a complete mistake. Because you can see in this image, the mast can sort of go down onto the flight deck like a hinge. That way it can go through the bridge. So to compensate for that, I just moved the mast on this ship that I built slightly to the left, where it can sort of pop out of the island. And that's basically an added detail I put in. And I also added these ladders as a small detail. There's still a lot of things I can change up in this mast, the top area. I could put more catwalks and stuff like that. I haven't really had that much time to do much changes to this bridge in particular. So there's not much difference in the interior of the island. So I'm not going to show you guys that. Just be wasted time. But I have added the funnels, which are basically the smokestacks, or the exhaust. And I've actually made the uptakes connected from these black blocks right here. I think it's concrete, black concrete, all the way down to the O2 level. Because you can fall down here and you'll be right here to the O2 level. Of course, it's not finished. I still have to bring these uptakes down all the way to the bottom of the ship, where the engines. So anyways, let me go down to the O3 level, which is where I basically did a lot of the work. We can also see over here, however, that I did add in these Sea Sparrows, I think they're called, basically missile air defense systems, and over here we have the launchers for them. I also have them on this side of the ship. So as you can see, I did work a little bit of the back of the ship, the aft. So we can go up to the O3 level, which is right here. So we're just under the flight deck. As you can see, there's markings on the ceiling, but I ignored them because they're not much of a nuisance to look at while walking through here. So as you can see, this is the O3 deck. If you walk over here, this is what is called a bullseye, which is a basically a system of signs that are in every single room, compartment of the ship that tell you where exactly you are on the ship itself. Now, there's a thing that I kind of messed up on this deck in particular, and that's the framing. If you don't know what a frame is in regards to a ship, it's the structural supports of the ship, and they're basically the main baseline of each room and compartment there is. So basically what I'm trying to say is the bow of each room should be a frame. And what I did in this build is I kind of just made every single room and compartment in a very jumbled up and kind of nonsensical manner. So not every room is going to be on the same frame. And because of that, these bullseyes are sort of messed up in the sense that they won't be on the same frame. So each sign will have a very weird set of numbers that don't really match up with the rooms that are next to them. I could go on about these bullseyes and what they mean, but that would take up almost half of this video for me to explain. So just to give you guys an idea what these bullseyes, or how to read them, is the first set of numbers basically tell you which deck you're on. So 03 means you're on the 03 level, which is just under the flight deck. It's where all the berthing and all the compartments and shops are, where most of them are anyways. Second set of numbers is the frame you're on, and to read that is basically the most front end of the room. So this wall right here, and just in front of it, so this block right here is the frame, which is the 253rd frame according to this. And the third set of number is to tell you which side of the ship you're on. So if you're on the port or the starboard, if you're on the port side, you're going to have an even number. So we know that we're on the left side of the ship. And if it's an odd number, like 1, 3, forget how many there are, but if it's an odd number, then you know you're on the starboard side or the right side of the ship. And this last letter is going to tell you what type of room you're in. Q is just a miscellaneous room, because there's not really anything in here in particular. So it's an unmanned area. Now if we go along into this... Let me turn off the weather, it's really loud. So in this corridor we can see that I've added little details like copper pipes, or I guess they're lightning rods as in Minecraft terms, but they look good as like pipes, copper piping, and you'll sometimes see these deep slate walls as a sort of detail to make it look like a different tube or pipe going from the deck below to the ceiling. But they're just small little details that I put in here, so they don't really make any sense. But this is a look into one of the berthing spaces that I made. There's a lot more to go through, but I won't go through all of them, of course. They all basically have the same features. 3 beds stacked on top, some chests, and redstone torches to make it look a little bit more like a dark room. Because we don't want to have a lot of light going in. Now there are rooms that are specifically called bunks, and the only difference to that and berthing spaces are that bunk rooms have only 2 beds stacked on top. So here's another berthing space. It's a long room, a lot to look at, but that's about it. Berthing spaces will have the L at the end of the bullseye, which basically means it's a living space, so it's where you live. So anyways, if we look back here, this is a little bit further back. This is a auxiliary radio room. This is supposed to be a radio, but there's not a lot of detail I can put into that, especially how small this room is. So a lot of the rooms are very small, but so there's not a lot of detail I can put. This is the furthest back of the ship that you can go into, and it's just a passage down, but there's no stairs yet you can go through. You can walk down through this corridor again, and you'll see that there's a physical fitness room. So this is my attempt to make a small little gym area of the ship. I couldn't really make a very good dumbbell or a barbell, if you can say. They really need to add more materials for things like trapdoors and doors, but dark brown will do. Even if it looks like wood, I guess you can still lift heavy wood, but you get the idea. This is supposed to be a barbell, and this is a small little fitness mat, along with these fences, which I try to replicate as sort of a pull-up bar. Here's one of the toilets or bathrooms, wash closets, as it will be labeled, WC. Ignore the WR, there's no really washroom. So some of the bathrooms, or the heads, I guess you could call them, they'll have showers accompanied by them. This is a small area, so I just made it a room with heads, or it's kind of weird saying heads, but toilets that you can use, in sinks, along with mirrors that I made out of banners, so these are pretty cool. You'll see a lot of them along the hallways, but I also made vents as a sort of ventilation system. You know, gotta keep the air moving. Right here, it's all jumbled pipings, like I said, just to add an extra detail along the hallway, so it's not just a clear area. You got more crew berthings here. I won't go through them. Basically the same idea as the past one that I just showed. So you can walk out here, and here's the Sea Sparrow. Here's one of the lounges. Got some bookshelves, and this is supposed to be a TV. It's a failed attempt, but here's some picture frames, a pot, which, you know, I think of them as coffee cups, so that's the lounge. And over here we have the training room. I didn't exactly know what a training room is, so I just put a bunch of laptops and or computers, and so I just labeled it as an office. And over here we have the I think it's the catapult, or the AG engine room. Actually, it's where the arresting gear engines, I guess. Aviation fuel storage. I just put like little storage things for jet fuel. I labeled them as F for oil-based fuel. Escalator. The Kitty Hawk had two escalators going down all the way to the I think it was two decks below the main deck. So it's probably the second deck. But I still haven't made the second deck as much yet, I don't believe. It's very dark down there, and I gotta turn off the weather again. But that's one of the escalators. I still haven't made another escalator. I don't know where it's located, so I'm gonna have to find that. Oh, and I'm also using, in order to find like where these compartments are, or had the idea to put each compartment, was using a blueprint from an older ship that's a 4-star class. I'll show you guys an image of it. It's the U.S.S. Saratoga, so CV-60. So it's not a Kitty Hawk class, and a lot of the compartments and things are different to the Kitty Hawk, but it's a good idea to show you where each room should be regarding the ship itself. So there's that I used. Thankfully, they had that on the internet. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known where to put each room, or had an idea. And this is one of the squadron ready rooms. Basically, all it is a lecture kind of room. You have a bunch of chairs, and there's a lectern at the front for the speaker to go up to. Here's the controls for the my attempt to make a little projector, which is just a dropper facing this way to this whiteboard. But that's the squadron ready rooms that I have. There's a bunch of other ones that I have on the ship, so they're basically the same idea. They have a bunch of chairs and a projector. Right here is the CPO lounge, which is connected to the CPO berthing spaces. It's also connected to another CPO berthing spaces, surprisingly. This is another room. It's located just right of the ship, or starboard. And there's a meteorological room. This is a storeroom, so there's nothing in here, but I'll probably put a bunch of chests and stuff. It's just a place where you can store the meteorological tools. This is the actual meteorological room that I made. This chair doesn't have any armrests, so I gotta put that there. But basically it's a bunch of screens that are sort of to mimic computers. And over here we have the air conditioning machinery room, where it's gonna control the air conditioning around the ship. So with all the vents, as you saw previously. I should also show you guys the washroom, or the wash closet, with the showers. So over here we have the showers, and I attempted to make the shower curtains out of banners, and I think it looks okay. But yeah, those are the showers. Basically just used tripwire hooks and buttons, which make good combinations for faucets. Oh, so I made the attempt to make toilet paper. It doesn't look good, in my opinion, but I guess it does the job for this particular room. So yeah, these are the bunks. They're just 2 beds stacked. Over here we have the one of the offices, the air department. And most of the offices you're going to see on this ship have the same exact details, with the old desk and a computer on top and a chair. That's basically all the offices are, so I'm not going to spend through all the time going through each and every office, because they're going to basically look the same thing. Unfortunately, because I don't have many images of different offices. So yeah, it's the same idea. So right here we have the radio transmitting room. I didn't have an exact image for this particular room on the internet, so I kind of just made a bunch of computers and different dials. Right here we have the intelligence office, which is another office with a bunch of different computers. Just a big green screen for some reason. This is the imagery. No, actually it's the interpretation area, which is basically the same thing. Just offices. Now the CIC areas, there's gonna be a bunch of different rooms that are labeled CIC. They look like this image, as I'm gonna show you right now. So as you can see, I don't have a lot of room to work with. So what I did with all these rooms is basically just make stone computers with green or blue screen with chairs and buttons. It's kind of stupid, but you don't have much to work with. You know, same thing here. You got a bunch of these little areas to sit at. CIC display and decision. TFCC, the same thing I just did. Same layout. Similar layout. Here's one of the catapult controls. Catapult where the jets take off out of. These are the catapult controls. Here we have the wet accumulator, whatever that is. I actually don't know what exactly it functions as, but I've seen images of the wet accumulator rooms, and they have these big tanks, containers. Here is the valve room. Jeez, man, it rains so much on this particular Minecraft map. It's kind of weird. So here we have the actual catapult system. All the cables going to and fro. Same thing there. Office. So this is one of the shops. This is the electronic shop, and basically what I did here is I sort of made it look like, you know, different tools and screwdrivers. Here's like a little thing that I guess looks kind of like a electronic device, I guess you can say. These red corals, look sort of like cables, so I use them, and these are just storage areas to put them in. If you're wondering how I did this, is how to make it look like it's like on the table, as opposed to on an item frame. Well, I still used an item frame, but all I did was I covered the top of it with a pressure plate. So as you'll see in this example, I put a pressure or a item frame down here, and then a birch pressure plate, which works best because the frame of these item frames are birch. So cover that, it looks like, you know, it's just a pressure plate, but that's basically what I did for that. This is the secondary conning station, the basically a second auxiliary area to control the ship. It's at the very front of it, and these are the windows that you saw in the front. Another lounge with a coffee maker, and here is the mess area where you eat food. We can also go into the gallery. This is the storage room for all the food. This is where you make the food and display it. You can see we have a bunch of different selection items. This is the chapel. Basically just make it look like a church and have a lectern at the front of it. Another flag, and this is one of the one of those rooms with the bath. This is the chief of staff. Okay, I'm trying to find the barber shop that I made. Yeah, it's hard because there's a lot of different birthing spaces. I actually think it was right here, yeah. You can see that I put a sign here just to make myself know that there's a barbershop connected to this passageway down. That's basically what I just did. Got shears as scissors and you know, just purple chairs to make it stand out from the other chairs in the other rooms, and mirrors to make it identify as a barbershop. Alright, well, I guess that is most of the things that I wanted to show you guys, but this whole deck is pretty much finished. Maybe just a little bit more detailing that I need to do, but that's it for the 03 deck. I'll be working on the 02 soon. I actually have the frames already set out. I just need to mark out where each room is and then wall everything off, make the bullseyes as I've been doing. And the bullseyes won't match up with the 03 deck, but that's just what we're gonna have to work with. So yeah. That's about it for this video, actually. I don't really have much else to show. This hangar was extended a bit so that I could fit some planes. I got 2 F-18s in here and a helicopter. And yeah. The exterior is pretty much already done. There's not much to do on the outside, so the inside is where everything is going to be worked from now on. So yeah, I mean, this thing is very massive. It's pretty close to one-to-one. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, I apologize for taking a bit, a long while for uploading a video, but this is what I have going on. If you enjoy this video, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. And as always, see you guys in the next video. Peace.